radio. We're going with the radio for now. You gotta focus on the road anyway. What? We don't need the radio. I don't want to listen to shitty radio. What?
I didn't say anything.
You don't need a tape measure with this, but it's fine. Yeah, we needed to measure the car. That's okay. If they have a 4x4, you can get one 4x4 and see if it fits. Hearing this like podcast.
No, gotta focus. It's fine.
Here, I like that one.
Good morning. Trump fires Christy Noem in a major cabinet shakeup.
He's been under pressure from his top advisors, from immigration hawks, from people at DHS for months and months to get rid of Noem, and we're only now seeing him cave to that pressure.
The Wall Street Journal explains why the president turned on his loyal Homeland Security Secretary. Israel bombards Beirut as the Middle East conflict widens. And as Trump demands a say in Iran's new leader, Reuters bureau chief for the country explains who might be next in line. It's Friday, March 6th. I'm Cecilia Lay, and this is Apple News Today. Christy Noem is out. On Thursday, President Trump announced he was firing Noem, marking the first major cabinet-level shakeup of his second term. Noem led the department through a set of wide-ranging and controversial tasks, like implementing the president's immigration crackdown and attempting to overhaul the disaster agency amid major weather events. Michelle Hackman covers immigration for the Wall Street Journal and reported on the ongoing issues with Noem and DHS.
There has been frustration growing with Christy Noem for months. It all started, I would say, about a year ago when these ads of Noem started appearing on places like Fox News. They were prominent, glossy ads of her. They looked like campaign ads of her saying, encouraging people to self-deport.
If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down.
And the problem people had with them was that they were in English and they were not airing places that typically people in the country illegally would be watching TV.
The border security ad campaign reportedly cost $220 million, and it was a major subject of a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing earlier this week. It was brought up in this exchange with Republican Senator John Kennedy.
And you're saying that you're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time, as I'm understanding.
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people...
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly, worked with OMB. Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Noem claimed that the ads had been effective, but Kennedy said they were only good at building up Noem's own name recognition.
I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot. And I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe, knowing the president, as I do, that you said, Mr. President, here's some ads I've cut, and I'm going to spend $220 million running them, that he would have agreed to that.
After the testimony, Trump told Reuters that he didn't know anything about the ad campaign. A watchdog at DHS is reportedly investigating the contract and whether it went through the standard bidding process. But the ads were just one issue. Over the course of Trump's second term, Noem emerged as one of Trump's most prominent senior officials, often attracting negative press attention and criticism from her own party's senators.
What are you doing?
After the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota, some Republicans called for her to go. Her management of DHS personnel came under scrutiny too, in particular the role of her top advisor, Corey Lewandowski, who's also expected to leave DHS.
And he's sort of been her enforcer, her chief of staff. He's been a source of fear and frustration across the Department of Homeland Security.
The Journal and others have
Did you want
reported that
that?
the two were in a relationship. When she was asked about it during this week's hearing, she dismissed the question as, quote, tabloid garbage. But scrutiny of the pair has heightened this past year, especially over department spending.
She spent $70 million on, it was a luxury 737 MAX with a private room in back. And when this became public, it was sort of earmarked for high-profile deportations, but it was something that actually Noem was using for her and her top advisor, Corey Lewandowski, to just travel around the country.
Then there were announcements that raised significant security concerns, like the implementation of an airport policy where people without TSA pre-check were permitted to keep their shoes on as they passed through security.
And those machines actually don't fully have the ability to scan shoes. And so she inadvertently created this new security gap in the system. That was something that the IG investigated and found. And when Christy Noem's office heard about it, instead of actually addressing the problem, they basically forbade the findings of the IG from being released. They gave it a higher level of classification and fought us tooth and nail from publishing it.
Noem is being demoted to a new role that is part of a security initiative. Trump said he wants Republican Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to fill the role as head of DHS. The change would be effective at the end of the month, and Mullin would require Senate confirmation. 6 days into so-called Operation Epic Fury, and the conflict in the Middle East keeps escalating and the death toll keeps rising. Late on Thursday and into the early hours of Friday, Israel unleashed a major bombardment in Lebanon, heard above the skies of Beirut. The IDF targeted a Hezbollah stronghold after the Iran proxy group sent rockets into Israel. According to the Lebanese Health Ministry, over 100 people have been killed since Hezbollah entered the war late Sunday. Meanwhile, Iran continues to take heavy fire. The Washington Post reports satellite imagery showing extensive damage to Iran's missile production complex, and the Israelis say they've knocked out 80% of the country's air defenses. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth dismissed concerns about possible shortages of munitions and said that firepower over Iran was, quote, about to surge dramatically.
If you think you've seen something, just wait. The amount of combat power that's still flowing, that's still coming, that will be able to project over Iran is a multiples of what it currently is right now.
As Iranians endure more bombings, uncertainty looms over who will run the country next. President Trump wants to have a say on who that might be. Yesterday, he told Axios he has to be involved in the appointment of any successor, like he was with the leadership change in Venezuela. This past week, though, Trump's position on the matter has seemingly evolved. At first, after the initial strikes, he called for revolutionaries to seize their country.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Later, he suggested a moderate from inside the government could be acceptable, showing little enthusiasm for the former Shah's son, who currently lives in the U.S.
It would seem to me that somebody from within maybe would be more appropriate. I've said that.
But he also acknowledged that most of the people from within who he thinks could be suitable were now gone.
We had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group, they may be dead also.
One person Trump did take a hard line on yesterday was the man currently seen as the front runner, Ayatollah Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei. Trump said it would be unacceptable, but also conceded it was the most likely outcome for now.
In the complex political system of the Islamic Republic, major decisions are often made behind the scenes before any formal announcement.
Tesla FSD is the Iran bureau chief for Reuters. She told us that Mojtaba Khamenei has worked behind the scenes rather than holding an official position.
He's young, in late 50s. He has always worked behind the scene. He's one of the most influential people in the Islamic Republic.
But if a large body of clerics, the so-called Assembly of Experts, pick Mojtaba Khamenei, it could be seen as a message of defiance to the US and Israel, and an attempt to show that the hardline Revolutionary Guard was still in charge. Hafezi told us he is widely seen as skeptical of engagement with Western powers and committed to maintaining the ideological foundations of the Islamic Republic. But opting for Mojtaba could cause problems with the Iranian public.
Many argue that installing the supreme leader's son would resemble dynastic succession, something that runs against the revolutionary ideals that toppled the monarchy in 1979.
Others could see it as an attempt to maintain